Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And in today's video, I thought black was a very appropriate lip color to choose because I am reviewing and sharing with you guys several different looks that I did using the new Gourmande Girls and Doodles by the Bunny collab palette, the Spooked palette. I'm sure you guys have seen this in your YouTube subscription feed. I am trying to get it up before the launch date. We'll see if I succeed. But yeah, this is the newest palette from Gourmande Girl, and she collaborated with Doodles by the Bunny, which if you've never heard of Doodles by the Bunny, let me just say that I've shared her on my channel before. She's done collabs with other brands before. She is a very talented artist, very talented when it comes to color story. If you can hear a little one snoring, I do have Sophia, my newborn baby, sleeping on my lap right now because she woke up halfway through this look. So I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier if you're like, who is snoring in Katie's video? So yeah, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my full review for the Spooked palette from Gourmande Girls. I am a big fan of Doodles by the Bunny. She is incredibly talented, and she's collaborated with Gourmande Girls, which is a new indie brand to me, but she collaborated with them on this palette, and it is just beautiful, perfect for the season. You got the purples, the greens, the pinks, the reds, the dark, lots of dark and depth in here. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. As I said, I got multiple looks to share with you guys. I will have my full review at the end. But before we get into that, I do want to share with you guys kind of a talk through tutorial. So I'm going to create this look and talk with you guys as I go along about the quality of the palette, kind of give my review of the eyeshadows I'm using. And then we're going to segue right after that into all the looks that I created with this palette. Multiple looks, like I said, so lots of inspiration in this video. And then at the very end, we'll come back and I'll give you guys my final thoughts and kind of overall review of this palette. So with that said, let's go ahead and just hop right into it, and let's start creating this look on my eyes together. Alright, so I primed with Gerard Clean Canvas eyeshadow base for my eyes. I'm sorry if my face is a little bit messy. I got mascara on my lid. I just took my makeup off, my eye makeup off really quick before sitting down because I already had my makeup done for today. But today is Friday and I really want to see if I can put this video up before it launches on Monday, so I'm hopefully gonna work over the weekend, so I have to film this part of the video and my review today. So I took my makeup off. We're gonna dive right in. I played around with this palette obviously already, did multiple looks. You guys are gonna see all the looks that I've done so far with it, but I think for this video I really want to focus on the purples, the purple, the black, and then the green. I love purple and green combination, and I haven't done it with this palette. It's been a while since I've done it in general, so that's what I want to focus on. I feel like it would be very like vampy and dark because I'm going to use these two colors, and we can see how this one, I want to play around with it some more because I've used it and it seemed to touch patchy, but I want to play around with it some more and just see. We gotta continue testing it, and as we go along, since I've used this so many times, this palette so many times, I'm going to kind of share with you guys my thoughts on the palette, and then at the end, after I've shown you all the looks, I will kind of close out the video with my final summary of the palette quality and all that sort of thing, like I typically do. So now that I've chatted your ear off before even doing anything to my eyes, let's put something on my eyes. I'm going to grab this brush. This is the E27 brush from Sigma, one of my favorites. It has a little bit of the purple shadow on it, which, I mean, I'm just going to lightly dust it off because I'll probably end up using some of that too for the transitions. But we're going to dive right into the black. And the black I'm really curious to play around with a little bit more because swatching it honestly didn't look that impressive in the swatches that you guys saw. And even when I was swatching, I was like, oh my goodness, that's not great. However, I have used it before and I thought it was fine. It was definitely a shadow you had to build up. But I think it's also just one of those shadows you really gotta dig your brush into it. I'm not just like sitting there and tapping, I'm like kind of scratching and stabbing into the powder, I guess you could say. So I feel like when I do that and then it takes some time, it's not quite so pigmented and effortless as some shadow formulas I've tried that are just so pigmented and intense that you don't even need to really be rough with the shadow, you just barely touch it and you get enough. Now this is a type of formula that I feel like you really do need to like stab your brush in there. It's more firmly pressed, or maybe it's just more firm, it's like a drier formula. I'm not really sure. I'm not someone who's very knowledgeable in eyeshadow formulas and stuff like that. All I know is that I have to be a little bit more rough and then just take some time, but it does build up fairly nicely. I'm pretty pleased with how black, I would call it like a smoky black. Like it's not an inky black, but it's a good black. Like it'll give you a nice dark outer corner, which is what I like. It's a good black that you can build up to. Just something to note if you do get it, it is just very dry feeling, doesn't swatch well, and definitely takes a little bit of like stabbing to get it going. Now that I have that, I'm going to go in with, let's just dive right into the purple, I think is what we're going to do. I'm going to focus the purple on the inner corner, but I'm also bringing it to the outer corner. I feel like I'm just going to go all purple with this look, and then I'll probably use a little bit of the white with maybe a mix of the purple if I need to soften it up. So anyway, I'm going to take this little brush. It's a tapered blending from LaRousse. Must have gotten an Ipsy or something like that. But let's go ahead and dive right into that purple shade, tap it off, and start tapping it in here. I feel like, once again, it kind of is that type of eyeshadow, that matte formula that I prefer to like stab into it and then kind of stab or press it down on my eye before I really start to blend. But I mean, that's a very pretty purple. That's an intense purple. I am not mad at that. And then we'll start blending. This is where when I did my first look, I used a little bit of this in my inner or outer corner. I can't even remember. But when I was using it, I was just kind of like, I feel like it's looking a little patchy as I'm blending. So we'll see. I'm gonna really pack it on there. I might even bring it down a little bit because I love purple and black mixed. It just gives a little bit more of an inkiness to the black there. And then now, let's go ahead and pick up a little bit more on the same brush, and I'm just gonna very gently start to bring it up so that we can get a nice effortless blend out, because that is too harsh of a line for me. I'm gonna work here. I've already done my face. I'm happy to see like hardly any fallout. I definitely noticed in using this that mostly the fallout issue that I have is with the shimmers, because they're just so intense. Like, there's just sparkle everywhere with the shimmers, so something to keep in mind. But with the mattes, these are dark shades and there is not a single drop of shadow on my face, so I'm very happy with that. I am pressing it down before I blend, but overall I feel like that's pretty good. Pretty good testament to the palette that you don't have to worry about fallout. So if you're someone who does your face first, don't have to worry about it ruining it. I like this blend more than I did the first time I used this purple, and I want to say when I used this shade the first time for that look, I kind of went on and was blending it initially. I mean, you guys can see in a minute when I show you guys that look, but I think I didn't really do a lot of stamping. I just went right into blending it, and maybe that's why it looks so patchy. So maybe placing it down and really kind of stamping it where I want it to be before I really start to blend is the way to go with these mattes, to make sure you don't get any kind of patches, I said that weird, any kind of patchy issues or whatnot on your eyes. But that, I mean, that's beautiful. That's pretty, I'm very happy with this blend. Pretty seamless in my opinion. I am going to take a little bit of the white just because I kind of want to use the white. I don't feel like I exceptionally need it, but it can't hurt. It can't hurt, right? So I'm going to take the E25. This is like a bigger brush to the one I used on the outer corner. Definitely prefer the smaller one for actually, you know, like packing things on and using it, but for something like this where I want to generously sweep the white, it should be fine. Ooh, okay, that white is more pigmented than I thought. I should have thought of that since I used it this morning as an inner corner highlight. But that goes on very nicely and should help to kind of meet these two together, and then I'll have to go back with just a touch more of the purple. I feel like this purple is more pigmented, and maybe it also, you guys could see in the swatches, but it's more pigmented and not so dry as the black and the red, this shade right here. This shade and this black, these two, I felt like were the driest and kind of like took the longest to build up when I was swatching them. And also when I'm picking them up on a brush, I feel like those are specifically the shadows I really have to like stab my brush in there and rough it around in order to get it to come up onto my brush and like go on my eyes really nicely. So I'm just gonna play with this outer corner a little bit, get it how I like it. I'm actually gonna add a little bit of the white because I feel like it helps cut down this pinkiness that I'm seeing. I don't know if it's just blending with my skin, but I'm gonna put some white down and then go back with purple. But I'm gonna just finesse this a little bit, catch the other eye up, and then we can move on from here. Okay, I took a longer pause than I anticipated because little Miss Sophia woke up. So now I have her, she's nursing right now, and I'm only got my left hand, but we're gonna try to finish this up and just keep on trucking. We'll see how good my left hand is. I definitely know I'm gonna be a lot slower. Oh my goodness, I was almost done with the blending, but I just want a little bit more working out here, and then we're gonna move on. So to prep for the green that I'm gonna put on, and I think I might even take a little bit of this purple in the outer corner. It almost looks blue on camera. I wonder if it's a duochrome, because in here I see a purple, but on camera it looks bluish. Anyway, I might even take a little bit of that to blend it out to the black. That might be pretty, but definitely the star of the show, the majority of my lid, I want to be green. To prep for that, since it's so dark now, I do want to take a concealer, and nothing too intense, but I want to clean up my eyes. So since I gotta be slow, she's working on nursing on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera so I don't bore you guys with how long I'm gonna take, and then we can move on to the shimmers. Okay, this is gonna work good enough. I'm going to, she thankfully is switched over to the other side now, but now I'm gonna use that same brush that I was using to just tap that white over, and I'm going to pick up that green, which is Apple Bob, not Apple Rob, Apple Bob. All right, so we're just gonna pack this on. Oh, this one's a nice smooth shade, easy to pick up. It's different from the other like super sparkly ones. This is almost just like a really nice smooth shimmer, which I like. Tapping into it really does remind me of Kylov's shimmers, and maybe I'm thinking of them specifically because I feel like they had a green shimmer like this in their Art Nouveau palette, or maybe it's the orange shimmer I'm thinking of. I can't remember, but it seems familiar to something I've tried from Kylov. Very pretty, not incredibly sparkly, but it's very nice shimmer. And it picks up nice with a brush, as you're gonna see during the other tutorials that I'm gonna show you. Her really sparkly kind of multichrome or duochrome iridescent type of shades don't pick up well with a brush, at least for me. I tend to have to use my finger or a sponge tip applicator, which in the videos you're gonna see me use mainly my finger because my sponge tip applicators are dirty or missing because they're not here at my desk. And I've been forgetting to go find them before I sit down. Oh well. But anyway, this is really nice because you can just pick it up with a brush, pack it down. It picks up very easy. It's very smooth. It doesn't stand, like no texture stands out with it at all. It's just a really nice, easy shimmer, and it's a kind of shimmer I like. Also with this type of shimmer, I don't think I'm gonna have a ton of issues transferring this. Something with all the other looks that I've done using like the more, you know, kind of special sparkly shades, which is like this one here I used this morning. These two over here, they just travel up into my crease no matter what I try. So now I'm just going to clean that brush off on my pant leg because now I can't open my desk drawer because Sophia is sitting here. But I'm going to dive into that purple shimmer. This feels and seems like the green, except a little bit more chunky, so we'll see how it applies. But I'm just gonna take that right on top. Yeah, it does look a little bit more blue. Maybe it's just because it's a different type of purple, and this shade right here is just such an intense purple that it makes this look more of like a blue purple. What is that, indigo? But it is definitely a bit of a different shade, which I suppose is nice because it'll make it kind of stand out if you use all the purple matte, and then this purple shimmer together. It won't be too like muddy, I guess, if they're too close together. It has a little bit of a shift. I don't know if it's a multi-chrome. You guys know I'm not good at that. But definitely a duochrome because it kind of shifts from like a purple to a blue. Maybe, is there pink in there? Maybe, or maybe it's just like a violet, a lighter type of purple. So anyway, I'm gonna tap this on the outer corner. I think that'll be really pretty. And then per usual, you guys know me, I'm just gonna go back and forth between the green and the purple until I like the way it blends together. Both of them are pretty easy to pick up and put down. The purple is definitely a bit more chunky but compared to the other sparkly shadows in here, not that chunky or difficult to pick up, honestly. These two are still pretty easy and effortless to work with and to, you know, use a brush with, which I like. So that's something I really like, that there are different formulas in here. So depending on what you like, if you just want like all the sparkle, don't mind the mess, then you can use that. Or if you just need something that's nice and pigmented and not too crazy on the sparkle and not too hard to pick up either, this works really nicely. I'm gonna go back into, oh my gosh, I almost hit myself. I need to make sure I'm sitting up because feeding her, I'm slouching a little bit. But I'm gonna go back into, I'm gonna do a mix of the purple and the black, and I'm gonna do the outer corner. I'm just gonna kind of dab into both of those and put it right here, like so. Sophia has fallen asleep while nursing, so I apologize if you can hear her snoring against me, or I guess I should say I apologize if that's distracting or annoying to listen to. That's what she usually does when she nurses. See, we had a hard day. Gotta go to swim lessons, and she does not enjoy car rides, so shouldn't have the most fun when we go. All right, so now I'm gonna just kick away that stuff, and it kicks right away. I like that. And I'm going to not do a liner, mainly because I don't trust myself doing a liner one-handed while nursing. I gotta get used to this whole thing again. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up the lower lash line. I really wanna go, I feel like just doing the purple really just needs to hammer home the purple on the lower lash line, but also I'm like, oh, should I do a pop of something different? You know what, we're just gonna do purple. I feel like that's the most appropriate. I kind of want to take the orange, but I don't know if that's gonna look the greatest with what we got going. It's so cool tone. we're just gonna do that. Sorry if that's boring. We'll have more looks coming up soon, but I'm just gonna take a little bit, I'll do it on this side. A little bit of black here to start darken it up. Again, I gotta really stab in there. This is a fluffier brush, so I should get more of a pencil brush so it's easier to get it to adhere to such a tiny area. But there we go, just a little bit of a hint, and then we're gonna go into the purple, which is Cauldron, I think. Are you waking up down there? Yeah, you don't know if you wanna sleep or eat. And we're just gonna blend this back and kind of just mesh it all up. But I wanna go a little bit harder with the purple so it kind of stands out more so than just a black. So at this point, I feel like I keep backing away from the camera, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit blurry, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish up. Oh wait, I always do this. We gotta do an inner corner highlight. I'm definitely gonna take this shade right here, which is Pumpkin, which if you guys saw when I reviewed St. Angel Sinners, their Get Lucky palette, the middle shade, I'm pretty sure this is identical to that middle shade. It was one of my favorites, so I remember it very well. And seeing it in this palette and with all this stuff going on with St. Angel Sinners, I was happy to see it in here because I am excited to get to use it again. And seriously, like I said, it was my favorite shade in the Get Lucky palette, which you can't even get anymore because it was limited edition. So yeah, if you saw that shade that I reviewed and were like bummed that you missed it, it's literally in this palette, feels and performs exactly how I remember that one. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same thing, so that's awesome. But yeah, look at that. Oh, such a beautiful inner corner highlight. So at this point, I'm gonna finish up my makeup, and then we're gonna roll to the final look, and then right from there, I'm going to roll into the rest of the tutorials that I did, and again, it's just gonna be music overlay, and then we'll meet back kind of zoomed out, and I can talk to you guys about my final thoughts and my review for this palette. So, be right back. Okay, so those are all the looks that I have created so far with the Spooked palette, and I'm ready to give you guys my overall thoughts, opinions, and review on this palette. As I said, it is launching very soon. I do have a code with the brand if you are at all curious to use it. I think it's just Lady Katie. I'll put it on the screen though. But overall, what do I think of this palette? Is it worth, you know, picking up? Do I like the color story? Do I like the eyeshadow quality? Before this, I'd only ever tried the shimmers from Gourmande girl. She sent me her Ethereal palette, which was an all shimmer palette. So this is my first time trying her mattes, and I was really curious to see how I would like it. And I would definitely say that there seems to be two different type of qualities when it comes to the mattes in this palette. Some of them are intensely pigmented, very buttery smooth, very easy to pick up. She's just snoring away on my lap. I'm so sorry. Very easy to pick up, specifically thinking of like the purple, even the red I remember having no troubles, the more grungy neutrals that I use, the white as well. But then there's a couple that are a little drier or just more firmly pressed, something along that line, like the black, that are, again, more firmly pressed. They don't swatch well, and they perform fine, as you guys saw during the looks. I was able to get lots of intensity, but it takes a little bit more roughening up with your brush to really get it into your brush, and then kind of more stamping motions and just taking some time to build it up on your eyes. But it will build up, and it is beautiful. And then the shimmers, definitely two different types of shimmers. Guess you guys haven't seen Sophia. She's like, what is it with all these lights, Mama? They are too bright. I still haven't filmed her birth story. It is coming. It's been on my to-do list. It's just, I need more time than a typical hurried video like this. It's probably going to take me like a solid hour to film and chit chat and whatnot, so I've been waiting to get more of a feel for her schedule, because as you can see, she doesn't always sleep as long as I anticipate. So anyway, we're just gonna keep going, but I would say that these two shades up here, and then even these two here, are more of what I found in her Ethereal palette. They're very sparkly. They're a little tricky to pick up on your brush. I tend to use my finger or a sponge tip applicator, but they're super sparkly. They're very intense. They're a little chunky and whatnot, but they're very pretty. And then these two that I use today, actually, I would say are just beautiful shimmers. Like, they're not super sparkly. They're not really chunky. The purple is more chunky than the green, but overall, I wouldn't really describe them as very chunky shadows. And they're just really nice and easy to work with. So overall, those are kind of my thoughts, kind of breaking down this palette, the different formulas that you're going to find in it. And as I always say with my reviews, it's going to come down to what you like and what color stories you like, what formulas you like to work with, and that type of thing, kind of like what you're in the market for. You saying hi? But overall, it is a nice palette. I really do like the colors. I think Doodles by the Bunny, Angela, did a fantastic job at picking it out. She designed the cover. It's beautiful. I loved the kind of holographic lettering. I think it's perfect for the theme of the palette. Overall, as I always say, it's going to depend up to you if the price is worth it. Like I said, I do have a discount code that can get you some money off, or you can wait for a sale. I always recommend if you wanted to make it a little bit more affordable. But overall, I'm very happy with the quality that I found in the Spooked palette. I don't think, like, when it comes to the mattes are nice. They're nothing that blew my socks off. I definitely wouldn't put them on the level of like Nomad, Give Me Glow, Menagerie, all those palettes or all those brands that just have a fantastic, like my favorite type of matte formula. Some of the shadows are, like I said, very nicely pigmented, very smooth, but as a whole, the palette I wouldn't say blew my socks off in that department, but overall, they're very nice. They're smooth, they're blendable, they're easy to work with, that type of thing. I was very pleased with them, and it definitely makes me curious, excited, and looking forward to trying more from Gourmande Girls as a brand, since I've gotten to try finally the mattes and shimmer formula from the brand. I'm overall very happy. So that's going to be my final thoughts on this palette. Let me know what you guys think. Are you planning to pick this up when it launches? Do you know about Doodles by the Bunny? If you don't, Doodles by the Bunny on Instagram, you got to go look her up. I've also done videos with her inspiration. She creates palettes. Like, she's been creating palettes over there with amazing color stories for years, and I'm so excited to finally see her bring some of her creations to life. I think it's absolutely amazing that she gets to do this. But anyway, Doodles by the Bunny, go follow her on Instagram. You won't regret it. And like I said, I've also featured her on my channel previously, because I used to do a series called what is it called, Dupe the Vibes, or I don't know, I duped a fake palette. So I took one of her palettes that she created that was totally fake, and I went to my single eyeshadow collection and I brought it to life, and I love doing those videos, and just thinking about them makes me want to bring them back. I haven't done one in a couple of years. It's been a long time, but I love doing that series because you see all these palettes that she creates, and other Instagrammers that I follow, I would just drool over how beautiful they were. And so getting to make the palette come to life through singles and then getting to create a look with it, I always had a blast with that. So I really should bring that back. But anyway, I'm getting long-winded at this point. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below as always. And yeah, with all that said, that's gonna do it for me, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.